Hi guys, welcome back to this video where we are going to talk about comments, variables and primitive operators. Now we are going to start with the comments. There are three type of comments three type of ways to do a comment. The first one is a single line comment, and the second one the second one is a multiple line comments, and the third one is documentation comments. So we are going to start doing the single line comment, which is done like this. Like this, we have already made a comment, which is a single line comment, and if you run, it won't be printed out because it's just a comment. The good things about comment is that if you are creating something, it can easily help you to remember what you have done in that line of code or in the big piece of code. Alright, this is the way of doing a single line code, a single line comment, and multiple line comment is it's done like this. Like this, meaning that you can have more than one line in the comments. Like, let me write something like second line. Alright, and this is another efficient way of doing. And the documentation comments, the only difference between them, you just need to add this sign here, just like this, and you can double the number of lines that you have. Alright, just as you want. You can make it very big. Alright, okay. The other thing that we are going to talk about is we are going to talk about variables. Variables are able to store that data from processing. A variable is given a name or identifier, such as area, age, height, and the like. The name unique identifies each variable, assigning a variable to the variable and retrieving the value stored in the variable. Maybe you're a little bit confused, but let's start coding so you can easily understand. If you remember, the first time that we print a value, it was hello world, right? Like we printed hello world, right? But if we hit the button, it's gonna print hello world and good morning, because we have to print out. If we do that again, it's gonna print hello world. But there is another efficient way. Let me say that you want to print different results, different values. There is another simple way of doing that. You can simply create variables and achieve the same result. Let's start with a variable of type string, which is mostly used for text. It's a very essential, because with the string you can, let's give a name, right? With string you can save text as its value. Like this, we can say hello Delcio, this is first output. Alright, and for us to get that value, we just need to put the name of that variable. Alright, let's make a comment to say that it's a variable. Let me explain this variable in details. This one right here is the string, which represents the data type of this variable, and this one right here is the name of this variable. Alright, and this one right here is the value stored in that data, in that variable. In that variable. This is the value stored in the variable. Alright, what we have done here is trying, when we call, if you can see the text, this variable of name text, it has it's equal to this thing right here, which means that if you call this thing right here, this name, you are calling also this thing, which is the value stored in the variable. This is why we have the equal sign here, meaning that this side is equal to this side. Alright, if we call text, what we are going to get is the variable, the value stored in the variable. Alright, let's run the code and see how it's gonna be. As you can see, we have hello world, hello Delcio. This is first output. Right, it happened because here we have ask that variable, which is this one, and this one has its value as hello Delcio. This is first output, which is right here. Let's create another variable of the same type with a different name. This is gonna be text2. Let's assign a value, which is going to be second print. Alright, if we come right here and say text2, which is this one, and we run, we're gonna have the output, which is right here. Alright, this is how string works and how we can get the value from a variable. Alright, let's say we want to print the two variables at the same time. All we gotta do is just type the name of the first variable that we want to print, put a plus sign, then the second variable, which is text2. Right, let's run and see how it's gonna be. As you can see, hello Delcio. This is first output, which is right here, and we have the second output, second print, which is right here. Okay, and there are another type of variables. When it's come to have a variable which can collect the value of integer, we use the data type int, which represent integer. We give a name and we give a value, right? And if we come here, we want to get this value from this variable, we just need to type the name and hit the button. As you can see, we got this value. Alright, there is another type of variable which is double, which contain the numbers with decimal point. This is a variable of type double, and the name first, and this is the value of this variable. Alright, this is what we got. And there are another one called float. It's just the same as double, but this is smaller than double, right? And when you are declaring this variable, you must put a f in the end to declare that this value is a float value, right? As you can see, we got the value. It's important for you to understand that variables are very used in this world of programming, because it's a simple way of storing things without spending a lot of time by trying to print something without declaring. All right, and there's something called char. This one allows you to use a single character. You can use a single character, but it must be inside of semicolons. All right. Yep, something like this. The character that you gotta save, it must be something like text, but it must be only one characteristic. I hope that I'm saying it well. Right? If we try to print, you can get the value. All right. Now what we are going to deal is I forget to tell you about something else. There is something called Boolean. This one is made to return two value, which is true or false. In this case, if we try to print, it's gonna give the value of true. If we put false, it's gonna give value of false. All right. Okay. Something that we are going to do right now, we are going to talk about primitive operators. Primitive operators is nothing more than using plus, minus, addition, multiplication, and division, and also module. Let's see how it's gonna be. But first we gotta create two data types, two variables of type integer. Let's give the name of first. This one gonna store a value like 23, and the second one gonna be also an integer. Let's make it this value as 6. Second, and it's gonna be 3. All right. Let me say we want to get the result between these two. We just need to do the same way that we have done in the previous one, by calling a variable. But this variable must be an integer with the name result, which is going to collect the numbers and make the operation between those two variables. All right. Let's call this variable right here. As you can see, it add these two value by this variable result. This variable result, it's what it have done. It just adding these two value, the 6 and 3. 6 belongs to first, which is right here, and 3 belongs to second, which is second right here. As I told you in the few minutes ago, I told you that every time that you call a variable name, you are calling the value of that variable. So what we have done here is nothing more than, right now I'm using a comment, is nothing more than 6 plus 3, because we know that first is 6 and second is 3. We have done this and got a result right here like 9. In this result variable, it's storing the result between these two numbers. This operation, it's storing this value. When we call the result, it prints this because it's storing the result between this operation. All right, this is how we got 9. The same applies if we go to minus, if we run, it's applied the same. Got 3. This is how we got 3. If we go to division, let me say if you go to division, and let's make it 1000, and let's make it 5. And right here we just gotta use the division sign. If we run, we can get the value of that division. And if we make a multiplication with multiplication sign, and if we run, we can get the value right here. Okay guys, this is all I wanted to tell you about comments, variables, and primitive operators. I hope that you understand. If you didn't understand something, just leave in a comment, and I will see how we can deal with that, and I will give you an answer in your comment. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and I hope to see you in the next video, where we are going to talk about incrementation and getting user input. Alright, see you in the next video. Bye bye, my good friend.